Welcome everyone to the Esports Hector YouTube channel, where we try to go and revolutionize the way you do fitness and gaming. In this video, we're gonna go over SMART goals, what it actually means, the framework in which it works in, and then we'll just close things up as always. So please, enjoy, take a seat, really just listen to what's going on, because there's going to be a lot of great information that you can use to essentially build your own goals. Again, regardless of whether it's fitness related or gaming related. Okay, everybody, so let's start talking about SMART goals. Now, a lot of you may have already heard or may recognize what SMART goals are and what that acronym stands for. But for those who don't already know that, SMART stands for specific, measurable, actionable, or achievable. You might see it as either or. Realistic or relevant, again, either or. And then time bound. Okay, so it needs those 5 pieces in order for a goal to actually be very concrete in terms of its ideas and knowledge. Without that, again, it's very vague. So as an example, let's just take someone from a fitness background. They want to lose weight. You always hear that, they want to lose weight. And the reason why a lot of the time it may not be successful is because it's too vague. You don't want something to be so vague that you can just kind of push it off to the wayside. You want it to be still important and still have relevance to what it is that you're trying to do. So let's just make sure that we're always trying to use that SMART framework and break down those goals. In the video description below, I'm going to have a link that's going to provide a document or a worksheet for you to be able to build those goals into something more concrete. The first step in our SMART goal acronym or framework is going to be specific. So when we look at setting a fitness goal, we want, and when I say want, I mean all the letters are capitalized here, to be very specific as to what it is that we want. Again, that's part of our SMART framework. Without that specificity, it means nothing. So as an example, and I've already mentioned this, let's say in fitness, I want to lose 10 pounds. It's not a specific target, okay? I want to lose 10 pounds in 3 months is, because now you're giving it some sort of, you've measured what it is that you're trying to do, again, the 10 pounds. You're also trying to create some sort of time component to it as well. Obviously, you haven't done any actionable things, and it's pretty relevant. 10 pounds isn't always, it's not a ton of weight to lose. I've seen people that have mentioned, I want to lose 40 pounds in about a month and a half. I don't take those clients just because I don't want to tarnish my name and my reputation as to why you couldn't achieve that when I knew that that was going to be a very impossible or hard task to do. So in gaming, it's the same thing. So, you hear all the time, obviously the goal is to always win a championship, plain and simple. But if that's the only thing that you're looking at, how can you measure? What are the actions? How realistic, is it? What is the time component that you're putting towards it? So it's all these other steps that are getting you to that point. Again, if you don't win that championship, let's say you're in the finals and you don't win it, does that mean that that goal is a complete failure? It's a great question to ask because, again, how do you measure your success if you're just saying that you want to win the whole thing? Measurable is our next letter in our acronym, or next word in our acronym, our SMART acronym. Measurable is the next piece of our SMART acronym. Measuring your success or your progress is going to be essential to your overall success. Okay, again, without making those adjustments, you can't really determine whether or not you are, shooting up to the stars, or I guess I'm going this, I should go this way, or you're crashing right down. Okay, so the measurable component really, I like to say it's the blueprint to the whole framework. Without this blueprint, you're kind of in trouble, I would say. So taking measurements of recording your weight, tracking your performance in workouts, those are two really important pieces that are often left not even thought about. A lot of people just go into the gym and just start doing some bicep curls just because they are like, oh, it's Friday, I just need to get some bicep curls in. But you're not tracking anything. And well, progressive overload as a concept makes perfect sense and is very valid and usable. You can only go so far with it. Meaning you can't just keep going up 5 pounds, to the end of time. No, you're gonna reach a limit. And so what you want to be able to do is understand where that limit is, and then how can you go about programming to maybe get that extra couple pounds to break that limit, okay? So by doing this, what it allows you to do is, again, gives you a basic premise or idea with regards to how far you've gone. If you're just going into the gym and you don't really you're not seeing a day-to-day perspective. You really want to be able to see a bird's eye view as to what's around you, your surroundings, your settings. That's what that measurable aspect allows you to do, is it gives you that great understanding into how to accomplish these goals. Our next word in the SMART framework is going to be achievable or actionable. Again, it depends on who you hear it from. You can hear both of those words being used, but with achievable, actionable, the idea here is to set goals that are going to be challenging enough. The way I look at goal setting is your long-term goals should be somewhere within the lines of about a year, okay? Then you have your short-term goals, which are going to be 3 to 6 months maybe, because sometimes you're going to have 2 to 3 short-term goals. And then from there, you have your mini goals. So your mini goals kind of help build up those short-term goals. And as you kind of understand, short-term goals will build up the long-term goals. So, what you want to do here is with achieving or creating this action, you want to push yourself, but remember to be realistic, okay? You don't want to overdo it and end up getting hurt. You hear that way too many times of people going to the gym and they just want to, again, really crush the weights, really lose all that weight, and then they get hurt. And as a result, then they stop and all that progress is now lost. You want to be smart, not using the acronym, but using the actual word, smart with how you go about your day-to-day activity, okay? So again, in the video description below, I'm gonna have a worksheet available to you all that will allow you the opportunity to download it, and in which case you should be able to then break down what your long-term goal is into, the mini goals. So think of it very similar to, I know a lot of people are playing Diablo right now. You're building up all those attributes, all those skills, so that way you go from the mini goals, you build up confidence, you level up, you're working on those short-term goals, you build all those up, you level up, and boom, you've accomplished that long-term goal. So it's kind of the same idea realistically. So it's always better to set smaller goals, okay? So maybe those are more, think of them as like little checkpoints, save points for gaming. And by setting those goals, those smaller goals, you're going to achieve them a little bit better as a result than setting unrealistic goals. Again, setting I want to lose 40 pounds in about 6 weeks. That's not realistic, and you're not going to achieve it, unfortunately. So that right there is how we look at achievable or actionable within that SMART framework. Next, we're going into relevant, okay? Again, sometimes you might also hear it as realistic. Now, what we want to do with relevant is making sure that our goals align with our overall vision, okay? Again, whether it's gaming or fitness, the relevancy of what those goals are should stay true to those goals. It shouldn't be, there are plenty of times where, you might hear someone say, hey, I want to cut a ton of weight. So that way, or I want to bulk a ton and then cut and just keep going back and forth. No, stay consistent to the goal for the time being. Then maybe down the road, you start looking at the other, okay? If you're just going, every month, every other month, just changing it, you're never really gonna get to what it is that you're trying to accomplish, okay? So what we wanna do here is always ask this question. Does this goal contribute to my long-term health and well-being? Okay, obviously that's in a more fitness-related context, but you can also take that in a gaming context, of does this goal contribute to my overall success this stage, this split, this season, this year? Okay, so that is what I want you to really focus your efforts on when it comes to the relevant component of the SMART framework, is really understanding if it does. If it does, great. If it doesn't, let's find out why, okay? So that way we're moving in the right direction. And finally, the last piece of our SMART framework is our time, or time-bound component, okay? Now, what we wanna do here is set a deadline for when those goals will be accomplished, okay? So what I like to tell people when it comes to setting goals, it is very much similar to building a blueprint for a home, okay, or a building. You have the idea of what it is that you're doing, but you also have an idea of the time that it's going to take to accomplish this. Obviously, there are going to be hiccups along the way, and it might delay a little bit here or there, but you have the overall framework to understand and to be able to work on. So that is going to be really important right there. What it also does is it creates a sense of urgency and also creates accountability. You don't want to just feel like you're just doing something just for the sake of doing something. You want that accountability aspect. Again, similar in gaming, you want someone to be accountable. That's why you have a coach or a coaching staff, because they're holding you accountable for going to your scrims or waking up on time, getting good food into the system, because again, gamers are cognitive athletes. So you have to make sure that you're fueling your body in a way that's going to help keep your brain clear, out of the fog, and that way you can really attack and really accomplish what it is that you're trying to do. Or in the fitness sense, you still need to get some good sleep. You still need to eat properly, so that way when you go to the gym, you're performing at top-notch levels. So that right there is really important, because what we want to do here is then identify that time frame for achieving the goals. Again, I kind of already mentioned previously that our long-term goals should be about a year long. Short-term goals should be about 3 to 6 months. Again, you might have two to three short-term goals, and then you're going to have a ton of mini goals along the way to, again, bolster those short-term goals, which bolster the long-term goals. So that right there is how we end our SMART framework. Next, we're going to move into how we understand the SMART framework and how can we use the SMART framework, because this is going to be really important to putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. Now it's time to put that SMART framework into action. But before we do, please, I would appreciate if you could just hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, so you'll never miss an update as to when I post my live videos. Again, my live videos go weekly on Saturday mornings, about 10 a.m., maybe 5 past 10, due to uploads and all that stuff. So let's move on to the exciting part of our SMART framework. So when we look at our SMART goals, okay, weight loss, weight gain, running a marathon, improving flexibility, those are all great goals to create. As an example, I've built a half marathon training program for a client. And the idea here was I had to work backwards from when the competition date is, 12 weeks back, give or take. So that way they knew what they were doing each and every single day for those 12 weeks that led to their competition. So as an example, I'm giving some sort of fitness framework, but let's put it in a gaming framework as well. Let's get up in the morning, let's attack the morning, and then by attacking the morning, maybe again that's having some breakfast or a cup of coffee, depending on how you feel and what you do each day is up to you. But then, figure out, okay, what are the tangible things that I need to check off before I go into practice? Is it VOD reviews? Is it, just practicing, warming up, getting ready? You shouldn't just wake up, roll out of bed, and then just hop onto your scrim. That doesn't really help you. It doesn't help your teammates, especially if you're playing a team game. So always keep in mind that you need to create these scenarios that are conducive to you, but also conducive to everyone else. And as I've already mentioned, when we look at long-term goals, so again, let's use, I want to lose weight, okay? And you're not giving really, you're using that as your long-term goal. So again, we're saying that, let's say 20 pounds. Again, 1 to 2 pounds of weight loss a week is normal and is healthy. So we want to keep that in mind there. Now, when we go from, I want to lose weight, what is the next step, which is our short-term goal? It would end up being something along the lines, more or less, of exercising, nutrition, and sleep. Let's use those 3 as our short-term goals. And these are markers of improvement that we want to make. Then our mini goals for, let's say, something like sleep is getting into bed by 10 o'clock at night. Putting your phone down 30 minutes before you go to bed, so that way you're not distracted, or, putting it on silence. Okay, I use focus. I have an iPhone. I put it in a focus mode so it doesn't really go off in the middle of the night. That way I can sleep through the night. My wife can sleep through the night. When we look at nutrition, maybe it's, okay, we need to start cooking better foods. We need to start cooking more at home. We need to use things like, appliances. We have a Ninja Foodie, so it does pressure cooking, it does air frying, we can saute things. It has a lot of qualities of many appliances all in one, so it takes up less space. Or, especially during the winter, we'll use the stove a lot, just because, or the oven, sorry, because we can just throw it in, set it, and like I say, forget it, okay? And with that, then we can hang out with our daughter for a little bit before bed and all that stuff. And then the exercise is, maybe we're only going in once every few days, let's say 3 to 4 days. Now let's get 2 days a week right now for the time being, and we can slowly build up. It's always easier to slowly build up days in the week as opposed to going 5 days a week and then now you go 1 day a week because you didn't see results, so you don't really believe in the system that's being created. So that right there, I would say, are probably some great examples in which we can really take that SMART framework and build it up to something that's a little bit more concrete. Because again, we're kind of talking about, I wouldn't say theoretical, but we didn't really apply it fully. So that right there, I would say, is the best way to go about applying those SMART goals and the SMART framework into a real life scenario. Congrats, everyone. So now you have the SMART framework tools to create those SMART goals, and again, build that to your fitness journey, build it to your gaming journey, or combine the two and use those together, because that's what the purpose of this channel is. So let's remember, success doesn't happen overnight, but with SMART goals, if you're dedicated and you are consistent, you have to be consistent, then you'll be amazed at what you can really get out of this. Again, if you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and share it with friends. I want this to be used for everyone. I want everyone to get value out of this. If they're not getting value out of this, then I'm not doing my job. I want to make sure that I'm doing my job. I'm providing something that is tangible for everyone to be able to achieve and accomplish. Lastly, I'd love to hear from you, more or less, in the comments below, what your SMART goals look like, how you're looking at building those SMART goals, if you're using that worksheet to help build your SMART goals. And I'd be more than happy to schedule time to talk to you about your SMART goals and how they can be improved from what you have currently. So thank you everybody for watching, and remember to stay committed to your fitness and gaming health, let's say. Let's build this community of motivated individuals so that way we can all push each other to the next level. We can level up and keep going up to the moon, okay? So everyone, I'm really happy to get this out to you. Again, give this a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. It would help me so, again, I can reach out to the masses. And as always, everybody, stay healthy and game on.